This is Tyler, and this is a excerpt from In Space, No One Can Hear You Clean, July 23rd, 2030. I don't even know how to start this. How do you think I should start this? Should I tell you some story from Earth, or should I just talk about space? Maybe I shouldn't start the story like that. Perhaps I should start by telling you who I am. That would be the normal human thing to do, right? My name is Matt, and I'm the janitor on board the spaceship Liberty. Immediately, you must have several questions, like why does a spaceship need a janitor? Why is a spaceship in space to start with? And of course, the most pressing question, could you think of a better name than Liberty? No, that's not your question? Maybe that's just me. As to the other ones, we'll get to them. Just hang on, champ. Jesus. That's what your dad's weird friend Dave says to you when your grandma dies. Let me try that again. Pump the brakes there, buddy. We'll get to them. No much better. Whatever. But it's time to move on. Maybe you're also wondering why I'm bringing this in the first place. And that, well, I guess I should explain that one. To be honest, I think I'm kind of just writing this because of, well, several reasons. You're surprised, but it's quite boring on a spaceship. No internet, which means no porn and Netflix. Not sure which one I miss most. Not a lot of people to talk to. Not that I'm the greatest at human interaction. And well, nothing but dark space to look at. So yeah, I guess I'm writing this because space is so fucking boring and I literally need something to do. But there's another reason I can't believe that I'm going to tell you this. I mean, I'm still not certain who you are or what you are, and here I am opening up my soul. But fuck it. No one's really talks to me except for Marcus, a robot. More on him later. Other than a few excuse me's, pardon, and I think you missed a spot, no one seems to want to talk. I think they think that I don't belong here amongst them. And they'd be right. I don't belong in space. I didn't even want to go to space. All I wanted was to get away from my borderline depressing life, and at the time, I didn't care what the destination was. But now on board this spaceship, people treat me like I have COVID. I find I've traded a sad existence for an even sadder one. You're still here after that sad detour? Now I'm kind of curious who you are. Are you some weirdo with interest in space journals? Or one of my bosses who is concerned that I'm spilling secrets? Or you're an alien. Yeah, yeah. Somehow you found these journals. I don't know how you found it. Alien dark web? Now you're reading over these to formulate your future invasion of Earth. Yeah, I think you're an alien. Almost positive. I mean, would someone normal slash not alien actually read my stuff? Anyway, let me actually start to answer those questions. We waited long enough. So how did an anxious, borderline alcoholic, and depressed janitor somehow find his way into space? Unless you're an alien with no access to human internet. Guess the aliens just call the internet, right? Or is it something else? For someone living under a rock, under another rock, you might not know the events that led to the spaceship being in space. So let me tell you, this will take a while. Because, well, before, well, everything, things were sort of okay on Earth. Mark Zuckerberg started a meat farm because, I don't know why he did that, actually. Perhaps to generate more money and throw into his huge pile of money. People didn't really pay that much attention to it. I mean, billionaires do weird things, like buy Twitter and name their kids weird number names. So yeah, Zuckerberg is just being another odd billionaire. Then he launched Zuck Dogs, a brand of hot dog, and they were an instant success. Strangely, at the same time, human population dwindled around farms. Not that people cared that much as long as they got their Zuck Dogs. Soon enough, journalists discovered that Zuck Dogs were actually Zuck people. Nation upon nation were disgusted, and also annoyed that they couldn't have their Zuck Dogs anymore. No, I didn't have any. They were like $20 each. Do you think a janitor makes Zuck Dog money? Zuckerberg was brought in court and only had to pay a large fine, which obviously deterred any future capitalistic cannibalism. Other than that, I think Kardashian got married. I don't know which one. You think I pay a lot of attention to that plastic surgery obsessed family? And JFK and Marilyn Monroe came out of hiding. They dominated the news cycle for a week before the media moved on to something else. I'm not sure what happened to them after that. Should try Wikipedia that when I get back to Earth. Maybe you can. Other than that, the only other thing I can think of is that Donald Trump died. Yeah, apparently he had a heart attack while eating cheeseburgers and tweeting. No, he didn't get depressed. Cool post, thank God. Was it racist? Was it sexist? A mix of both? Thankfully, we'll never know. So at least something good happened. Note from the author. I get it. Old Donnie is still alive. and unfortunately still not arrested. Somehow. We have to admit, probably not that far off. In a post-Trump world, things were still not great, nor were they bad. At least not yet. Then these odd portals started to appear, mainly in foreign countries. Told you it was getting to it. Of course, governments recognize this as something not good, and so they'll find where these gateways are coming from. No, really, that's what happened. Okay, fine, that's not what happened, but I had you going for a second, right? Whatever, let's just move on. So these portals showed up, and the world did next to nothing. They, like the JFK/Monroe, did make their way to the news cycle before being replaced with the Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck cheating scandal. Although the scientific community started studying them right away, it wasn't long before Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye were imploring governments to take this moral situation a bit more seriously. They were met with a quagmire of ridiculous statements, thinly veiled apathy. Portals, like the video game? What if they're not real? They could be fake news reported by liberal media, said by a Republican, obviously. They're just in other countries. Why should we care? At least he was honest. During all this bickering between governments and scientists, people started to take selfies of the portals. Within weeks, portal selfie was trending on X2. Yeah, Musk changed the name again because I don't know, I can't explain rich people logic. Governments did try to get people to leave the portals alone, but tell people not to do something, and they do anyways. Then cults started a little too earnestly. Why is it that when weird shit happens on Earth, people have to start cults in response? It's like, wow, look at that odd thing. Let's start a cult. There were the fundamental Christians who saw it as a sign coming, and if the people donate to them, sure they'd go to hell. Which applies that if you refuse to do it, you'll go to hell. When asked how they would ensure that people would go to heaven, one of the priests standing next to his shiny new car, obviously he must pray a lot or something, responded with, "We'll pray to God." When pressed to expand on that, the priest got into his car and drove away, leaving behind the scent of premium gasoline. So nothing wrong there, of course. Then there was the Edward J. Olmoses. A group of people prayed for the portals and dressed like Edward James Olmos. I don't know why you would pick Edward James Olmos for a cult. Did I mention that he had literally nothing to do with it? Even Edward James Olmos said any publicity is good publicity, except for this publicity. I mean, I could go on, but how about you just Wikipedia it if you're so curious? Anyways, cult members and selfie takers started to get sucked into the portals. Who knew they were dangerous? To be fair, it's possibly for the best. Stars and men work, but still kind of bad. Portals claim more and more people that began to appear in Britain, USA, and Canada. The ones that said, "Not my country, not my problem." Well, now it was. Number of victims kept climbing. Even D-list celebrities, RIP, Carrot Top and Jeff Ross, got pulled in a few of them. No one knew where they're going, but no one ever came back. So draw your own conclusion from that. Governments, slowed by months of inaction, starting to react. It wasn't until Jeff Bezos' yacht was pulled into a portal, unfortunately, he wasn't on it, and Tom Cruise flew a plane in one. Yes, he was on it, that the politicians started to say, "Oh no, we can't lose any more yachts and couch jumping Scientologists to these things. What if my yacht is next? What if your yacht is next? We must save the yachts, gentlemen, and the voters, of course." Thankfully, the world started to respond properly. During all this, I rode the same bus to and from work. I swept the same hallways and cleaned the same bathrooms. Portals were on mine, but they seemed distant to me. Like a war in the Middle East, they just didn't seem quite real to me. At least not yet. And where did I work? Well, I guess I still do. CSA, or the Canadian Space Agency. Yeah, I know. I didn't even know we had one until I applied for the job. Monday to Friday, I commuted to work, cleaned for 8 hours, ate the same thing for lunch, sat on the yogurt, because no. Went back home to play video games and hang out with Roxanne. More on her later. In time, portals started to appear in my morning commute, making things a bit more dangerously interesting. Finally, there was talk in the news that they've been to something that closed the portals. Political leaders showcased prototypes on TV, which kind of reminded me of a sci-fi version of a Gatling gun. It wasn't long before I saw crews in the street sewing portals shut with a odd device. And in time, the government announced that scientists have found this big portal out in space, the cause of the portals. All the world's nations were sending ships to go into space and close the state gateway. After that, I didn't really pay a lot of attention to portal news. I was just glad someone or a lot of someone's were going to deal with this issue. So my borderline sad life continued. Again, I didn't want to go to space, and if I did, who would put a janitor in a spaceship? There's a lot of activity at work. I was finding more empty Red Bulls than ever on desks. People walked by me, bags under their eyes. Everyone I came across seemed to be so tired, drained of energy. I had no idea what was going on. All I knew was that it was something big. One day, my boss, Terry, pulled me aside, told me the director requested a janitor for the spaceship. Immediately, I asked, why does the spaceship need a janitor? Beats me, all knows they asked for one. Here's my answer with a shrug. I know who what they was, really suspected. Lately, we've been going through directors like a wrestler goes for steroids.